You know that feeling when you hear a piece of music and certain notes just click? They sound so right together? Well, what if I told you it's not magic, it's actually math? Today, we're going to crack a secret code, one that's thousands of years old, connecting the beautiful sounds we hear to the basic numbers of the universe. So, let's just start with a huge question. Is it possible that a single vibrating string could actually hold the secrets to the harmony of the entire universe? I know it sounds a little out there, right? But believe it or not, that's the exact quest some ancient thinkers went on. All right, so let's head way back to ancient Greece. We're talking about Pythagoras and his followers. Now, these folks weren't just doing math problems for fun. They were on this epic quest to prove that the universe wasn't just random chaos, but a beautifully ordered system. And they were convinced the first major clue was hidden in the world of sound. Their core belief was, honestly, pretty radical. They thought numbers were the literal building blocks of reality. So for them, music wasn't just art. It was a way to actually hear the mathematical blueprint of the cosmos. Their whole mission was to find the simple, elegant rules that explain why some sounds just feel so right, so harmonious. Okay, but that's a massive theory. How in the world do you even begin to test it? You need a tool, something simple enough to act as a bridge between abstract numbers and the actual notes you can hear. Enter the monochord. I mean, the name kind of gives it away, right? Mono for one, chord for string. It's this beautifully simple but brilliant device, literally just one string stretched over a sound box. But with a little movable bridge and a ruler, it became the perfect laboratory to connect the math of length to the music of pitch. And here's the brilliant part. The monochord made the invisible, well, visible. You could physically see the math by sliding the bridge to a precise spot, and then, bam, you could instantly hear the result as a new note. It took the mystery out of sound and turned it into something you could actually measure. So they started experimenting. And by playing around with this one little string, they uncovered something absolutely extraordinary hiding in plain sight: the incredible power of simple whole number ratios. So here's the core discovery, the real aha moment. If you pluck the whole string, you get your main note. Let's just call it a C for now. But if you press down exactly in the middle, at the 1/2 mark, you get that same note, but it's a perfect octave higher. Shorten the string to 2/3 of its length, and you get a completely different note, G, which creates a perfect fifth. All of a sudden, this incredibly predictable mathematical pattern just emerged from the sound itself. And this was the crucial insight. The most pleasing, the most stable sounds all came from the simplest ratios. That 1:2 ratio gives us that pure, clean sound of an octave. The 2:3 ratio gives us that strong, stable, perfect fifth. The idea is that the sound waves from these simple ratios just fit together perfectly, like puzzle pieces, without creating any jarring roughness that our ears don't like. Harmony, it turned out, was beautifully simple. Now, this led them to a truly monumental conclusion. For the Pythagoreans, this was never just about music. They thought, hey, if one little string follows these elegant mathematical laws, then maybe the whole cosmos does too. They imagined everything, from the orbits of the planets to the very structure of reality, was built on these same simple harmonic numbers. Okay, so an idea this big was never going to stay locked away in ancient Greece. It's evolved over the centuries into a much larger system. Because, if a few simple ratios create harmony, what happens if you try to map out all the possible harmonious relationships? Well, that brings us to something called the lambda matrix. The goal here was ambitious, to say the least. It was to create a complete blueprint for harmony, a single visual map that contained not just the basic octave and fifth, but an entire universe of resonant relationships, all derived from those simple numbers. And this grid is the lambda matrix. It's really a modern evolution of those ancient ideas, championed by researchers like Barbara Hero. You can just think of it as the ultimate map of harmony, where every single coordinate on the grid is a pure whole number ratio. So how's this map built? Well, it all starts right in the center, with your fundamental note, your unity, which is the 1:1 ratio. Now, as you move out horizontally, you map the overtones. Those are the quieter, higher notes that naturally exist inside any sound you make. Then, and this part's a bit more theoretical, you move down vertically to map the undertones, which are like a mirror image of lower frequencies. The result is this incredible, comprehensive blueprint of every possible resonant connection to that one starting note. So, where does this leave us today? Is this just a cool piece of ancient history? Nope. This ancient math is actually being used right now in the modern world, especially in the growing field of sound healing. So, the thinking behind it goes something like this. Our bodies are fundamentally rhythmic systems, right? Our heart speed, we breathe in and out. And the core idea is that if you expose the body to the clean, orderly vibrations of these pure, simple sound ratios, you can help promote a state of deep calm and balance. Practitioners will often call this alignment. So, what does this look like in practice? Well, a practitioner might start a session with a single grounding tone from an instrument like a monochord. From there, they'd use the Lambda Monomatrix almost like a recipe book, choosing specific ratios and harmonic intervals to layer together into a kind of sound journey for their client. And then at the end, they bring it all back to that simple, unifying one-to-one tone to complete the experience. And this framework is surprisingly versatile. Beyond just therapy sessions, it's a really powerful tool for teaching the physics of sound. Some people use it to create customized sound prescriptions for clients. It's even used as a ritual instrument in ceremonies or as a powerful metaphor for energy work, using overtones to connect with what's above and undertones for what's below. Now, we do need to draw a pretty clear line here. The math and the physics of musical harmony, that stuff is rock solid, well-established science, no question. However, the specific therapeutic claims of sound healing are, well, they're a lot more speculative. The scientific research in this area is still emerging, and this is definitely not considered mainstream clinical practice. So that leaves us with a really fascinating question, doesn't it? Is this ancient math a literal tool for our physical wellness, or is it a profound and beautiful metaphor that just helps us find our own internal harmony? Whether you look at it as physics or philosophy, that search for the perfect ratio, that perfect sense of balance, that's a quest that continues.